and the dear council. Listen, no crime, me say, when you have a trenamo to a moto canena, more repeating mistake. Cause on my new bleedy, my force who bleedy, no question I make catch away my family who hates. Party A, any party B, and you will boost your japadi, ye come, I can our mind, ya late. Sebi, one more casapi, and so a crabby no more ye. Now, your mobile no so cry fake. The second coming of Chroma. Nana Kwame Bediako and Sroma was rain. It's Ghana mine yet is soon Nasa was so be my hanya, Yaman, a quine, I bread. Why, Mamma, me the threat. Wash a hood do be brain or Moshishan or crack. You go see a dream, my honey, the name of Fred. Oh, yeah, that's right. Ya Bremo, I feel you cannot crano. Said your mubu mine, said be in as a fiano. Or Mamba Pami cannot creme, can said your tiano. Yamame Amagana Komubu, I was say a siano. The new force is here to give Amada Ghana rest. All they want is to see Amada Ghana bless. They came to feel Amada Ghana breast. Said the Amagana, my binya daily bread. Oh, Ghana, and it a swab, Mumaya to Hosanna. Yamia don't tea, say the mana. We present to you the new force. Oh, Ghana, and it a swab, Mumaya to Hosanna. Yamia don't tea, say the mana. We present to you the new force. The second coming of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, the man behind the mask. Osaji Funana Kwame Bediako. Yeah, Obekwajene my Bediako. Oh my God, and Bediako. Muja dada no, omo babe dada mo. Afi muja munaba, mo maye mana kwaba. Yeah. That's right. Oh yeah. Ama Ghana tini su. Are ho ahye na koma su. Onye bibia su ye twe na su. Oh, osia na ye body guni su. Ama na luma to untimi ni dio. No one does say ni adwuma nyama found you to know. Serious. The second coming of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, the man behind the mask. Osaji Funana Kwame Bediako. Yeah, Obekwajene my Bediako. Oh my God, and Bediako.
Be informed on the Atlantic Wave on ATL FM 100.5.
Oh Ghana, and it a swab, Mumaya to Hosanna. Yamia don't tea, say the mana. We present to you the new force.
Who are you to stop freedom? Are you God? You can stop freedom. Who are you to stop freedom? Are you God? You can stop freedom.
Be informed on the Atlantic Wave on ATL FM 100.5.
The youth like king. Say, who are you to stop freedom? Are you God? You can stop freedom. Who are you to stop freedom? Are you God? You can stop freedom. We promote latent, we don't kill latent. Oh, the youth like him. We promote latent, we don't kill latent. Oh, the youth like him. Hey, the sign of
freedom. Just stop freedom.
Hey, the sign of
Freedom. Just stop freedom. Freedom. Just stop freedom. Freedom. Just stop freedom. Who can blame? No man can curse. It is a victory of the Lord that makes a man. What he has said about you, that is what will stand. The blessings of the Lord is what that makes a man. We stand as Jacob in our generation. Goodness and fullness talk for the generation. Freedom is here for our generation. Freedom is here for our generation. Freedom. Just stop freedom. Freedom. Just stop freedom. Freedom. Just stop freedom. Freedom. Just stop freedom.
Who are you to stop freedom? Are you God? You can stop freedom. Who are you to stop freedom? Are you God? You can stop freedom. We promote latent, we don't kill latent. Oh, the youth like king. We promote latent, we don't kill latent. Oh, the youth like king. Say, who are you to stop freedom? Are you God? You can stop freedom. Who are you to stop freedom? Are you God? You can stop freedom. We promote latent, we don't kill latent. Oh, don't fade. They motivate, push you, and mentor you to the top.
Freedom, freedom, just love freedom. Freedom, freedom, just love freedom.
Say, who are you to stop freedom? Are you God? You can't stop.
And so you're still tuning into ATL FM 100.5. This is the Atlantic Wave. This is a special edition today. I have with me this morning the leader of the New Force Movement, Nana Kwame Bediako, joining us to speak to the people of Cape Coast and its environs. Good morning, Nana.
Good morning, Andrew. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Yourself?
Very well, by His grace.
We thank God. It's a real privilege hosting you in our studios this morning. I want us to kickstart the conversation because lots of people are interested in who Nana Kwame Bediako is. First and foremost, who is Nana Kwame Bediako?
Nana Kwame Bediako is a young Ghanaian who is a Pan-Africanist, an industrialist, socialist, economist, entrepreneur, many more other credentials. But I serve the nation. Even before this journey, I've always been a great giver through my foundation, New Africa Foundation. And through that, we built the freedom movement. And then out of the freedom movement came the New Force.
All this in one body. Great. I mean, we know you are aspiring to lead the country, but just before we get on to some other bits of the conversation, people remember that this interview is being streamed live. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and be part of this conversation. Send us your thoughts. If you have any questions for Nana Kwame Bediako, this is the right place to do it. Nana, let's look at your leadership track record. Share with us what your track record is.
Well, I mean, a leader is someone that always have a vision. A leader will be someone that will always have a purpose. A leader is someone that have guts and the courage to build a nation or a generation. And I have these instincts right from the beginning. Even though that I wasn't a businessman, in my youthful days with my friends, I was leading them. You know, and when I say I'm leading people, it doesn't mean that people are following me. It means I can go down to earth to people to relate to them, you know, at whatever circumstances. And that's when people trust and believe in you. And that's what I see as the leadership skills that are beginning of my life. And going forward, you get to realize that you become responsible after some time. You know, that's where it really kicks in. Are you just responsible for your family, or you are responsible for social amenities and responsibilities? Are you responsible for a nation? Are you responsible for a country? Are you responsible for the nature that you came to meet? So I'm going through that kind of responsibilities, and that is where my vision, my movement, my life is gearing towards taking care of what I came to meet here.
You know, we've been following you quite a lot, but and we know that you're enjoying some success with your business and all that. Why do you want to be president? You're doing well. You're serving the country. You've done a lot. You're still doing a lot for people. Why this bid to lead the country?
Yes, Antri. I mean, it's great to be successful for yourself. But sometimes when you want to significantly add value to humanity, it changes the dynamics and the perspective of life. Some people become successful. They can pay their children's fees, they can pay for their wives' cars, and they can buy themselves a home, and they can have a good business and be happy. But some people are not happy with these positions because generally they become responsible to people who are just liable on them. 1, 2, they are willing to give to the needy. 3, they want to make a change. And 4, they want to leave a legacy instead of gain riches. I am that man. My destiny is to leave a legacy. I've acquired riches. I have built wealth. But now I've entered the other door and I want to leave legacy. And I also thought that the country is in some shambles. You know, I'm worried about the youth who are coming and unborn children.
And that is where I want to come in, and so you help us with what specific gap you have identified in this country that you want to fill?
It's quite a lot. It's quite a lot. It's quite a lot. So it's not fun when you become successful and then the millions around you are wondering how you became successful, because there are no solutions to their problems and they don't see how they can climb the mountain as you did to get to where you are. But these are circumstances beyond control. If a country is not well governed, the future and the hope of the people gets doomed.
Well, people, if you just tune in, that's Society LFM 100.5, and I have in studio with me Nana Kwame Bediako, the leader of the New Force movement here in your number one radio station in Cape Coast and the Central Region and beyond. Remember that this interview is streamed live on YouTube via TV UCC, so you can just subscribe and enjoy the conversation and then let your messages trickle in and be part of this whole process. Now, I am interested in when this whole idea of becoming president was conceptualized.
Well, it wasn't until last year. You know, I was going about my business, building my industrial park, building my commercial buildings, building my residential, and even got international, you know, such as the zoos and museum, the things that I wanted to do in the real estate sector, where I thought that people were not doing at all in Africa. Because when people say they're going into real estate, they just want to build a house and make profit. We were maximizing the use of the spaces to create profit. So it was a different dynamic, that something else that we had to introduce in the real estate industry. And then from residential, we moved into commercial. When we got into commercial, we realized that we could be the first people to introduce a different type of hospitality in the industry, which is the Uber homes. They're like hotels, but they're like homes. And they're like apartments, and where you can own one for a day, you know, and feel like very different. But then industrial had quite a promising future for this country, because we realize that there's less than 6% of industrialization in this country. And even that 6%, 5-point-something% belong to outsiders, which means the nation itself didn't have industrialized mindset.
What specifically will you be doing in this regard to change the issues around the industry you talk about?
Well, when I say industrialization, I'm talking of manufacturing hubs, you know, being able to experimentally fiddle and look into what we have as resources, whether they're mineral or natural, and then turn it around. This is what creates jobs in the system, in every country. This is the strategy. This is the secret behind every country's development. This is what creates jobs. And we discovered that through real estate when we branched into industrial. But that vision I had maybe 12, 13 years ago when I started Petronia in the western part of Ghana. You know, for us, real estate has led me into different types of fields in understanding. But what really brought me into national governance is that I realized that the people I resonate with, the people I relate to, and the people that I look at the future with, I could only see the youth. I couldn't see the people who were far above me coming to buy properties from me. I couldn't see them coming to join me to build an industrial park. I couldn't see them being the ones that would turn my vision and my dream around. But I realized that the youth were going to grow into it, and some of them will be smarter, wiser, and even more skillful than me. And at the point where I'll be weak, they will be strong enough to take it off from there.
Right. I want us to get to these individuals you associated yourself with, or you associate yourself with. A couple of months ago, Dr. Arikana of Zimbabwe, Professor P.L.O. Lumumba of Kenya, Julius Malema of South Africa, and Peter Obi of Nigeria. Why do you choose these individuals to, as it were, associate yourself with? What do they have in them that resonates around your vision and what you want to push?
Well, first of all, I wanted to clearly show Africans where we're diverting to, and two of the things that is so important in the African economy, not just Ghana, but the entire African economy, is our political governance, which is massively influenced by foreign influencers. Okay, so I took two very controversial politicians of all time. Julius Malema has been around for 2-3 decades fighting for his right and what he believes African politics should be constitutionalized as. You're talking of Peter Obi, who is a sensational politician who almost took the constitution to a different level in Nigeria. And Nigeria is the highest population in Africa. So it makes that guy very powerful to be able to convince the entire nation to follow him. And then I took two activists. These two activists also are the most controversial, which is Dr. Arikana, as you already know. She turned her back on AU, and UN and America by telling them that what you're doing to the people is not fair. You have to treat them fairly. You have to do the right things to them. But knowing Patrice Lumumba, he has been lashing these leaders of Africa for the past 3 decades, and they still embrace him. They still love him. They still respect him because he's speaking the facts. So I brought those 4 people to ignite the voice of Africa.
You talk about Patrick Lumumba. I want you pick your thoughts on this quote of his, because we have engaged the reverse gear and we are moving with jet-like speed in the wrong direction. We must change this by rolling up our sleeves and working for the growth of our country. You share in this?
I think he was just maybe talking about me. Yeah, so practically, as I was saying, I mean, these 4 people are, if any government, if you had the president of Ghana and maybe Nigerian president coming together to invite these 4 people, they would not show up. And I think that they didn't think that the New Force and the New Africa Foundation had what it takes to bring these 4 people. Yes, we do. And I'm sure that it wouldn't just be the government who wanted to cancel this event, but of course you would have other entities such as UN, AU, or maybe some of the other African entities. What's the West African economic platform called again?
AU?
ECOWAS. Yeah, I'm sure they were putting pressure on Ghana, not to make these 4 people speak, because if they spoke to 30,000 kids, which they were going to, or more, it would have transcended to 300,000, and it could go to 3 million, and it could go more and more and more. But you can't change the minds of the kids again.
Now let's talk about this controversial one. You're on record to have said that you're going to dredge the sea to the Ashanti region. Is that feasible? How?
Yes, it's very feasible, but the point that I was making is not carrying or forcing the sea into Ashanti region. I was saying to Ghanaians that the time has come that we connect all our ferries, our rivers with the sea. It's called canals. You bringing water to a place is not because you want beach where people will go and throw their rubbish in like they're doing everywhere in Ghana. I think that transportation, coastal transportation, is something huge that we're lacking in this country. And if we want speed in our development, how are we going to sit down and think that we are going to be bringing 500 of containers from Tema Harbor, 400 kilometers away from Kumasi, to develop Kumasi? And if we want to have a good economy, how would we think that if we put about 5 different plants in Kumasi for gold mining, for timber, for all sort of exploration and manufacturing, how are we going to export that out of Kumasi to other regions? Now let's look at the eastern corridor and the western corridor of this country. As I've studied these grounds very well, I'm not the type of guy that talks with degrees. I am the man that talks with facts, because I study things, I look into things. I studied land policy and I learned about acquisition. They didn't teach me in university or school. Now I'm telling you about the map of this country. You have River Oti, you have River Pra. These 2 rivers are huge rivers, and they're meeting. Okay, they connect to Tano. River Tano is in Techiman. Techiman is the biggest cocoa producer in this country. I mean, they're the #1 region that produces the most cocoa. This tunnel goes all the way to the Ivorian border and Ghana border, where the sea is. This is a simple dredging canal connection. And then you've gotten water flowing through the country. We need to open up the country. Everyone does it in their country. Singapore, America, everyone. That is
so your point really wasn't necessarily digging. I mean, like people thought you were going to start digging from one seaside towards the Ashanti region is the point.
You need water bodies. You need water bodies because they have the path already. It's called ferry. It's called, some of them is called canals. It's there. You Google it, you see.
And
it's
that
in Hamburg.
nature has already provided this
Yes,
for
it's
us.
in Hamburg. It's in different countries. Even Manchester, they brought water there. You know, they dredge. And then they started bringing ferries with ships. It's very much possible. It's feasible.
Right, great. People, if you just tune in, that's Society LFM 100.5. My guest in studio, Nana Kwame Bediako, the leader of the News Force movement, helping us to understand what his mission is, what he intends to do, his ambition, and remember that at exactly 2 p.m. Today, we are all meeting at the Center for National Culture to meet Nana Kwame Bediako, otherwise referred to as Freedom Jacob Caesar. But because you are in Cape Coast, I'm sure lots of the people in Cape Coast will be interested in what plans you have for the people of Cape Coast. Remember that we have the fishing bit, we have people who are into farming, and most importantly, schools. What plans does Nana Kwame Bediako have for the people of Cape Coast?
Well, first of all, I think Cape Coast is one of the most beautiful regions in the country. Even partly on the continent, yes, we can say so. You have the coast going around the whole region. First of all, a lot of potential in development and tourism. But I think this is the #1 educational hub, if not West Africa. For Ghana, we know for sure. Okay, you have the best of schools here. You have some of the best universities here. You know, a very well-designed and developed interchange community where people who are very much related to their history and their culture already. Apart from the castle that is around that everybody comes to see, but you know, it kind of gives me some downfall syndromes. That is one of our best.
Why?
Because why should we be so proud to show just that to the world, where we got killed and where we were molested, abused? This is what we're showing people, you know, but this is what people come to pay for, to look at us. I think we should change our mindsets of what, you know, for me, I think it's memorial, it's good. But there's so much that we can talk about historically. The things that we have done, the greatest stuff, the greatest people, from the Konfanoche to the Yasantoas to the Kwame Nkrumahs to the great leaders of this country. You know, we need to talk about that. People that fought for us and gave us our rights back and pulled us together and made us stronger and pull us from all the bad things that the colonial master was trying to portray. You know, there comes a time that we need to show people that we're made, that we're built for it, that we're prepared again, that we're rejuvenated, that we have survived, that we're born again, that we have resurrected. You know, I think that is the kind of spirit that I'm bringing to the new society, the new Ghana, the new nation. You know, you can't show people your weakness. If I was ever having problems with finances, I would think about how to get myself out of that and make myself better and not fall in that situation again. I would not go and tell the world that I'm broke and I need money. That, you know.
I know people will be thinking, would there be a time when Nana Kwame Bediako would decide to merge with any of these political parties at a point within your political career?
I didn't come to merge with people. I believe that I came to establish what is right, a unification platform that unifies the difference between the youth, the government, and the public. The existing duopoly can do what they're doing, and I'm not here to complain about what they've done wrong. I'm not here to talk about their faults. I just think that as a country, we need to move forward. We don't have jobs. We don't have industrial platforms that would stabilize our economy. We don't have money. We have currency issues. We have inflation, we have deflation, we have depreciation, we have a lot of things that is going wrong with us. And the people also don't have the jobs to go with it. But education is ongoing. Everything that will make someone's future become bright is ongoing. But everything that will lead you to that bright future gets stopped once you finish your education. So I just think that we need a change. We need a change. And I'm not here to go and merge with any party, because I think that with me and that party, there will be a change. If they believe in what I'm doing at some point, they're welcome to join. I'm not someone that is going to discriminate any parties. If one day some good, learned, smart, young people, vibrant people are ready to leave MPP and NDC and join this new force and see that this is the best for our country and therefore we want to support it, they're more than welcome. But I'm not here to go and join any party.
People, you're at liberty to get interactive with us. 0275 14 49 49, 0275 14 49 49. Alternatively, you can reach us via 0595 74 3866. These are our engagement platform, both XMS and WhatsApp. This is ATL FM 100.5. Remember, we are streaming live via YouTube, via our YouTube channel, TVUCC. Get interactive with us. Send us your messages if you have any questions. I've got a message here from Bismarck. Thanks for writing to us. And Nana Bismarck is asking that you describe yourself as a socialist. And his question is, what are you seeking to do in a democratic process like election? Is that not contradictory?
No, it's not. Actually, I already think rather our constitution is quite contradicting us already. And if you want to be socially adhesive and connecting with the people, the nation, the people of your country, if you don't find a democratic way to upend what you want to do, then of course you're going to end up becoming an activist, where most people thought I was that type, but I need the power of governance for me to be able to establish the vision that I have. I need the power of social governance for me to liberate the public from whatever valley that they have gone into. So I don't see it as contradictory at all. If Ghana was governed by something else and it was not going well, and I'm in the private sector and I decide to take a step, whatever system or whatever platform that they would have had is what I would be gearing towards. And then once you are able to get into the constitution, you can review it.
What's your take on the Galamsey menace? And if Ghanaians give you the nod, what exactly will you do to end this predicament?
Well, first of all, I think that I would move all the Chinese out right away, because they are heartless and they are hopeless to come into our country and to poison all the water. I mean, there are probably hundreds of thousands of them without us knowing. Because
is it not easier said than done?
Well, just let me say it. If they're in the country and we're not seeing them and they're poisoning our waters, these water bodies are the same water bodies that is feeding the grounds where we're planting our crops and everything. So we eat from this food, and I can guarantee you 10 years from now, some of the kids that would be birthed would have 6 fingers. They'll be blind already because they'll have silence all in their system, and it's poison.
It's already happening.
Okay, so now if these people are doing this and they're taking what we have and taking it to their country, all of a sudden, all the waters are brown. Everything is destroying. The first thing I have to do is to stop them. Now, I'm not saying that Ghanaians didn't have Galamseys already. That's how they were eating. Those people, I would like to bring all of them together. If it's 80,000 of them, I would like to hire them. I would like to employ them. I would like to know how they're doing that job, and I'll put them to a hard rock mining, and I'll give them a KPI that get me 200 tons in 2 years, and we are going to pay you the money. Any money you want, we're going to pay you. That 200 tons, for the first time, Ghana can borrow over 200 billion. Because what you need is gold reserves to borrow. What the country is doing, that doesn't make sense to me or anyone outside this country is that you need gold to hedge your currency. They take the gold and sell it every day. They sell it to people and take dollars and then hedge their CD to the dollar. When the dollar, the guy that's giving you the dollar takes the gold to go and hedge their currency to make it stronger. So when you go to England, they have a lot of reserves, and that's why their pound is always strong.
You talk about employing them, or if you have
I will give them jobs.
80,000 youth, you're going to employ them.
I will give them jobs.
You know, we exist under a constitution. Are you going to ask for a review of the constitution? Because whatever they have to do with our land, our resources, natural resources, has to, find itself within the confines of our constitution. Will you review the constitution?
It is not about reviewing the constitution. It is about jobs. It is about resources. These natural resources belongs to the state. It does not belong to the government. The people are entitled to make a living out of it. And if it's a region, they're supposed to. Are you telling me that in Tvucc there is gold mines, there are all of these things there? Okay? These guys are mining tons of gold and taking it out of the country using our own people. You think those people don't know how to mine already? They will. They do. And they will do it. And I don't need to. Sorry, I know you want to jump, but
I'm not going to jump.
Yeah, let me just make sure that you're corrected here. What the point I was making is that you need to make use of your human resources, of your mineral resources, and then use that to build your country, to build your people, to build your economy. These three things, if you don't do it, your people will become valueless. If the nation has valueless people, economy doesn't exist. Okay? If the nation is taking every money out of the country to buy things from outside China, everything, your economy will never have a balance. It will not grow.
Great.
Okay? So all of these things that you're saying, I think that I can turn it around, but I don't expect Chinese people to be here extracting from us. I think they should work for us as a country.
Right. Since or post-independence, Ghana has subscribed to the IMF for some bailout of a sort, the 17th time. If Ghanaians give you the nod, what will you do to, as it were, stop this consistent visit to the IMF for bailout?
Well, I think it's also based on people's personal interest. Borrowing money from outside is never going to build our country. We cannot borrow even 50 billion and use it to build all our roads and give it to every Ghanaian that doesn't have a job or have a job to be paid. It wouldn't take even a year and all the money will run out. Okay? What I think we should stop doing is going to people and begging them for aid. And we should start giving ourselves the aid that we need to build ourselves, which we already have. As you see with the policies of New Force, one of the main things that we're starting with is the 16th Industrial Regional Revolution, meaning that we're going to put businesses, platforms, industrialize every region. Because of that, we have studied every minerals, that the deposits of attributable reserves in every region. These regions that we're talking about, some of them have over 1.7 trillion reserves. It's on the ground. From gold, oil, bauxite, manganese, it's all there. These are deposits. When you look at it, none of them are being manufactured, refined, or industrialized. We are trying to make sure that the 16th region becomes active. Active that every single person that is on this land of this nation, if they ever want a job, there is room for it, because we're going to refine our own resources. We don't need to go out there to borrow money. We need to make money out of what we have around our surrounding, and we need to be able to even export it to the outsiders, because if we're only importing goods into our country, then we're sending all our money out to the people that we're importing from, and then trust me, the people will come back and sell these things again in Ghana and take it back to wherever. The money is going into other people's economy. Until we industrialize our country, we will not move forward. It's as simple as that. And I want Ghanaians to understand this. This is how America was built. This is how Singapore was built. This is how Dubai, any country, that even Dubai is a good example, that it's been built within 46 years. And this is maybe 2/3 of our independent time since we had independence. They have built a whole place, over 3 million apartments, buildings, everything, and it's become the center of the earth. Everyone is passing through there, and they are living very well. I mean, their future is already built. Ghana has that potential to be one of the first developers of their own country in Africa and start this African industrial revolution. That's what I'm geared for. I'm ready for something. And I'm telling the nation that Africa's industrial revolution is coming. It's going to be the biggest thing. It's going to be the third world biggest thing. The first was farming, and it was big. The second has been technology, and it's big. The third would be Africa Industrial Revolution.
What has been your inspiration about this whole Africa thing? You talk about Africa. What inspires you? What gives you that kind of inner belief in Africa? And what do you want to do for Africa?
Well, first of all, I mean, the Prince of Africa is really stunning for a continent that has been well undermined, you know, with their capacity and their ability.
And Nana Kwame Bediako is a Prince of Africa.
Of course, Freedom Jacob Caesar, you know that. Nobody else claimed the title. I did, and God put the crown on my head. And no one is taking it from me until I become a king of that, until I become an emperor. I want to, you know, I've lost some great people. The likes of Gaddafi's, the likes of Kwame Nkrumah, the likes of all these great leaders of Africa. Their spirit dwells in me. They live in me. I feel them and they feel me. I understand where they were taking us. I understand what the value that they created within the land that they belong to. The resources, they turn it around. Of course, the Western didn't like that. And the Western would not like this young man sitting in front of you, Ntvucc. But I'm telling you for sure that I'm here with a purpose to make that difference. I know that we are wealthy. We are rich. We surface the earth. And we are the reason why a lot of countries in this world is built. Without us, there will be a lot of problems. And I know that, you know, the world needs all the lithiums and the cobalts and the oil and the gas and the gold and the things that we have. But we have become victim to our own wealth. We have become slaves to our own wealth because someone takes it from us, polishes it, and come back and sell it times 3, and then have us begging for him to give us money to buy what really belongs to us that is just refined, when we can just refine it ourselves and buy it for a cheaper price and sell it to the world.
Good one. So people, if you just tune in, that's Society LFM 100.5. That's as a special edition of the Atlantic Wave, and we transmitting live from the Kofi Totobi Kwachi studios of the Campus Broadcasting Services Center here in your number one university. Let me just put this across. The leader of the new force, Nana Kwame Bediako, who sits before me this morning, also known as Freedom Jacob Caesar, is inviting all residents of Cape Coast to his listening tour program. The program is scheduled as follows. It's happening today at exactly 2 p.m. and the venue is the Center for National Culture, CNC. So you want to be part of it, just move straight to the Center for National Culture here in Cape Coast. And you reminded that this interview is streamed live on YouTube.
Sorry, I just want to put this in there too, because you're forgetting that Cape Coast University tour. I will be here tonight from 6 o'clock sharing my success story.
Great.
Yes, I have been to universities, and I must say that I now feel very, very, very aligned because, you know, the experience I had in UDS, you know, more than 4,000 kids, and we interacted and we spoke and I shared my story with them. You know, when I went to KNUST and Navrongo, and now I'm coming to UCC. Yeah, so I will be here from 6 going, and come and meet me. I have the code for success. Of course, no one can teach you how to become rich, but I have the code for you to become successful. Be there tonight after 2 p.m. Going to the Center for National Culture. I'll be coming to the university. Do you know the auditorium where we will be? Maybe you should get Nada and
all right, so NEC auditorium, yes, the new examination center here in your number one university. And you do know that the University of Cape Coast is the number one university in Ghana, number 1 in West Africa, and amongst the top 10 universities in Africa. So we pride ourselves. So you are in the right place, Nana Kwame Bediako.
Thank you, Entry.
All right, so let's move on to issues about monetization, because 2024 is an election year, and there are issues about voters exchanging their voting rights for money. MPs, lots of people within the political circles, paying people to vote for them. What's your take on that, and what concrete measures are you going to put in place to, as it were, end this, so people will vote based on competence and not about who has the money?
I think, first of all, people are selling their souls for political leaders. I'm not a politician, I'm a leader. And what I'm seeing from where I sit, your thumb is a very powerful thing for your fingers. When you don't have it, you can't do a lot of things. When someone comes to you and offers you money so you vote for them, so you can put your thumb on something for them, okay, that's your fingerprint. They're taking a part of you, a part of your soul, okay? When they become a president, they can use you, rob you for the next 8 years. You both have sinned. You wouldn't be classified as you've just been cheated. You both have sinned. Okay, now let's compare the Western democracy to the African democracy. In Africa, when someone wants to become a president, he goes to the people and say, here, take money and vote for me. In the Western world, when someone wants to become a president, he goes to the public and say, here, I want to become your president. Please donate so I can be your president. Now, what happens is that when that person becomes a president, the people that donated to him, he owes them. So he has to make sure that they're okay. That is naturally, mentally, and spiritually. Now, when you switch it back to Africa, when that person becomes a president that has given you money to vote for them, you have to remember now you owe that person. So millions of people will be owing one person, and he's going to take the money back in 1,000 folds, which is what almost every politician is doing in Africa. So they therefore don't think about the people or think about developing the country, the responsibility of building the nation. They're not doing it. They are taking their money back and preparing themselves for the next election. This, I think, it should be changed. New force have come to do that change. And I would not pay people to go and vote for me, and I'm not interested in people who are also interested in bribes. I think they've lost their path. I think they've lost their way. I don't want them to be my followers until they fall back into the place where they belong to. I really believe that they're the youth, they're the up-and-coming people, better future.
Do you think the country needs a development plan? Because as it stands, different political as a country, so that irrespective of whoever sits on that throne,
I think they have a development plan, but it's not implemented and utilized right. What I think we need to do is to actually change the constitution in such needs to continue from there. So we keep going backwards. You think that this other party started this, and then we move all of these people away because they just want this party. So this country is being governed based on the party's interest, not on the good ideas, great vision, strategies that has been implemented should be continued. The ones that are beneficial should be supported. The ones that have failed should be tried again with a better solution. And we should be one. We should think towards a plan. Have bridges everywhere. You expect to have, first of all, we need to start to industrialize our petrochemicals so we don't have to buy bitumen from outside to do our roads. If we're doing bitumen here, it will be cheaper. We have the stones, we have the concessions. We can build 6 lanes. If we do that, and that 6 lanes is going to give more jobs in the country. And instead of paying $1 million, we can pay a quarter or a third of that. It's called economy of scale. When you're doing investment and development, which is my forte, that's what I do. My business is investment and development. And what I'm doing in the development is making sure that I multiply the use of the spaces into many spaces. So like some of my developments is 1.5 plots, but I managed to put 108 apartments there. That's where my profit is. Okay, the maximization. So I think that this country needs a leader who understands investment and development very well. Okay, a CEO that will come and build the country and build businesses for people and bring jobs for the people.
Right, Nana Kojo Ofori-Yeboah, thank you for writing to us. You're saying you're doing the listening this morning, Nana. You're writing to us from Apeosika. Thanks for writing to us. You're still tuning to ATLFM 100.5. This is a special edition of the Atlantic Wave, and we have in studio with us Nana Kwame Bediako, also known as Freedom. Jacob Caesar, the leader of the New Force movement, engaging us in ATL FM 100.5. And like we have told you, at exactly 2 p.m., he will be in the Center for National Culture. You want to be there to meet him and tell him your problem. He's saying that he's not coming to talk, just come and tell him your problems. And on campus here, the University of Competitive Choice, he'll be here from 6 p.m. He'll be meeting students, staff, faculty, everybody at exactly 6 p.m. at the new examination center. So you want to be there, but as you know, you can join the conversation. Send us your messages 0275 1449. 490595743866. These are engagement platforms. You can get interactive with us. Let your messages continue to trickle in. Now, I want us to talk about free SHS, or the issue about SHS, or the free SHS policy. Lots of analysts have raised concerns about the quality of education in the country. Some have called for a review of the free SHS policy, feeding oversized classrooms and the like. Your take specifically on the issues about free SHS?
I think it's a good idea, but the government is probably not ready for it. Because if they're
not ready for it?
No, if they're borrowing money.
From 2017 till now, how many?
Well, I mean, if
looking at?
You can tell that a lot of the people are not using their time properly in the full semester anymore, like it used to be. So the pattern of education is changing. But the educational curriculum should be suitable to the traditional developmental scheme of this country that will benefit the people who are educating themselves. So you might have free SHS, but it will not benefit the nation to the extent that we're looking for that free education. I think a country's economy should be booming, and strategically tax money, the tax returns of the country. There are other things that can support this system. I think currently, as a country, Ghana, we're struggling to do so. So if it's 2 million people that want free education, and even if you have to give them a meal a day, and it's even 5 cities, that's a lot of money that the country would need to put in the educational system. I think they're struggling. And when you're struggling with education, you are not focused. You know, the people are not focused. You know, when your mom cannot pay your fees properly, you know, and you are brainy, and you have to write an exams,
that's
it's
a lot of trouble.
It's likely that you might not be able to perform your best. So I think personally, our educational system, first of all, is quite wrong for me, and that's my opinion. I'm entitled to it. I think we're still learning about Christopher Columbus and Westerners' histories and all of that, which is not very important. I think we should learn about around our surrounding, you know, things that is around us. We should be educated about how to mine, how to manufacture, you know, how to go into farming, agro-processing, you know, all of these things that when we're growing up, we grow up like the Chinese, you know, they go to school, but they learn about how they can turn a clay to a towel, you know, and all of that. So they all have industrial mindset, and that mindset is going to give birth to a skill set that would be transcendent in within regions and the nations. So first of all, that tweak about our educational system needs to be implemented ASAP. ASAP, change of some subjects. You know, let's get some thinking subjects and some local analysis.
You have any you have thought about?
Oh, yes, I probably wouldn't like to share it here.
Okay.
Yeah, just so nobody in the Ministry of Education would take it and make themselves look good. But yeah, I do.
You would be helping the country even before Ghanaians give you the nod.
Well, I do, and I am doing that already. As you see, we are doing the university challenge. That's why I'm also doing the university tour, the success story. So me giving 1 million to the winner of whatever university out of the 10 universities that we chose, which CCU is one of them. It's because I wanted to.
1 million is ambiguous. What are you saying?
Yeah,
1
it's
million what?
1 million cities.
Ghana citizens.
Yes.
Great.
Yes. So it's because the winner is going to use that money, and it's a group of people. They're going to use that money to turn around the business that they wrote the proposal for. Even if it's government, we still give you. So we had different topics that people are going to write about, present, and everything. And I'll tell you why we did this, because we wanted to create entrepreneurship, wealth building, and empowerment. These three things we want to introduce into the universities, because we've realized that the universities are they're spending 4 years of their lives only because they think they will get a job after. They don't come out of university as business people, as leaders, as entrepreneurs. We want to create that. We want to put that in our curriculum.
Just because you touched on students and universities and schools and what they intend to do with education, they want to move out there and get jobs and all that. That's a common assertion about the discrepancy between theory and practice. And so the conversation is around bridging the gap between what students study in school and finding the job market. I mean, finding jobs to do. What exactly would you do to merge these so that what they study will make a lot of sense in the outside world? As in, they will find the right jobs and don't study A or study a square peg and then find themselves in the round hole.
That's exactly what I just told you, basically, that's what we're working on, because practicality needs some sort of networking group team to work with, push you, so you can see the essence.
Yeah, so I actually heard you say that, but my interest is specifically what you would do, unless you do not want to share, but what you would do specifically to be able to bridge this gap, because governments have tried.
All right, it's very simple, Bediako. I mean, look, you've been to school. I know you have. You speak very well, but you remember your grammar more so than you remember your courses. If I ask you what is economics, you probably fumble. If I ask you a lot of things you studied in school, you won't remember. But you remember the faces of your friends, and you're still connecting with some of your friends. So networking is very important in your educational life. Okay, that's one. Two, skill adaptation is very important. What skills did you adapt from people? Because sometimes you might look at your prefect and you like him so much that you ended up becoming a president. You took your leadership skills from someone, and you used to be with this person for 7 years. So you get to learn from them. You spend 8 hours of your day with people, with teachers, with people in your class. You definitely adapt from them. What we don't seem to realize is that we actually spend time with people that we work with and people that we school with more so than we spend with our families, because we only meet our families at night, and we don't get to spend more time. So the people you're spending more time with are the people you're going to adapt from. And therefore, if 5 of your friends are foolish, you end up becoming the 6th one. If 5 of your friends are millionaires, you end up becoming the 6th one. If 5 of your friends are wise people, you end up becoming the 6th one. We need to understand that it's our educational platform surrounding us with these wise people, with these business-minded people, with these industrialist people. That's what we need to put ourselves in. But if we're just going into classrooms and lectures, and then we're just studying and chewing and pouring whatever we're chewing and pouring, and then we score A, because that's what makes everyone happy, it is not like that in the real world. You cannot chew and pour and get paid. You need to use a nyansa practically. Make sure economically you're smart and you're wise. You can't go to the real world with just being smart, and you can't go to the real world without just being wise. You can't go with one of them. You need to be clever and you need to be smart in the real world. Practically, you need to make sure and understand that time is the measure of money.
Right, you're still tuning into ATL FM 100.5. We'll be ending the conversation very soon. But we won't be able to bring you the canned news. People, we apologize for that. So join the conversation 0275 14 49 49. Let me mention again that Nana Kwame Bediako is inviting all residents of Cape Coast and its environs who are listening to us that he's coming here. And he's here and he's meeting everybody in the Center for National Culture, CNC, here in Cape Coast at exactly 2 p.m. And on campus, the University of Cape Coast, Nana Kwame Bediako will be meeting students, faculty, staff at exactly 6 p.m. at the new examination center. So you want to rush there and meet him and listen to him and tell him your problem. I've got your message here, and you're saying that as a leader, I know that you ought to be proactive and must have a strong development plan. That has been said. But your problem is how and the criteria you will use in selecting the people you will be working with, because the downfall of MPP and NDs is human behavior we have around us and the constant lies. This coming from Nana Kojofori Yeboah. Nana Kojofori Yeboah, you're writing to us from Apiosika. Thank you. So he's basically talking about how you're going to select the people around you. Most importantly, ministerial appointment. And over the years, there have been issues about these appointments.
Yeah, it's just how you manage the people and how you let them operate. So your vision and your destiny is prevailed through these people. But you just have to remember, there's always going to be a Judas. You just need to make sure that that Judas is useful. I mean, I'm sure Jesus Christ, Judas was one of the most important people for him in all his disciples. He definitely knew that this guy is going to play me this way, but when he does, I will become the Christ of Messiah. And at the time that he did, yes, he resurrected. And today, if Jesus Christ is a marketer, he's the best marketer for me, because after he left, everybody believed in God. You know, so there are bad people in our society that they will end up entering your space. But sometimes we need to find a way to adjust those people and gain from them, although you're going to depart from them. You know, they shouldn't be the reason why you are falling. You know, you should know where you're going, what you're doing, and even if one or two people are wrong, you still make sure that you go there. And I think this country is lacking accountability, okay, responsibility. Now, all these leaders and all of these ministers and workers and public servants have become a liability to the government system. Everybody's just
getting become a liability.
Yes, a liability, because the state have to pay them.
And you know, we have all the institutions that are supposed to check corruption and all that, but we still experience the highest level of corruption.
But that's what I'm talking about.
Exactly
the liability.
Your point. I'm just adding it. But what you will do to, as it were, make these institutions work to the letter?
I think first of all, we need to go back right to the roots, where the problem is growing from. Okay.
Have you identified the root?
Well, yes, you have to. And I'm not fully in the system, so I can't pinpoint it. But it's very clear that if the top is corrupt, then the middle will be, and the bottom will be. So the whole country is robbing Peter to pay Paul. Really, that's what's happening. Maybe someone in the Lands Commission is stealing something, is taking some money on the side, someone in the police, someone here, the government, maybe the ministers, the leaders, people are going to England, they're taking this. So everyone is stretching their hands out, and it's become a sickness around. So corruption is really have eaten into our blood. But if you come and you blame and you find excuses why you have to incriminate people and jail them and this and that, that's not important. I think what is important is, first of all, finding solutions to problems, because that's a step forward. Okay, that makes people sit a little bit. And then secondly, planning of how you can add value to whatever existing product, existing minerals, existing human resources that you have, for us to also take another step forward. I just believe in taking steps forward, forgetting what has happened in the past, but learn from it. Give up on the past, but learn from it.
Great.
And go forward.
Great. People are still having the studios with me. Nana Kwame Bediako, Freedom, Jacob Caesar, the man who is the leader of the New Forces movement, and he calls himself, or he says that he is the Prince of Africa. And so he's in the studios now. If you have any questions, you want to know his vision, he's touched on a lot of them. I just specifically would want you, and I want you to touch on the issue about unemployment. You have touched on a host of things you're doing and what you intend to do. But beyond these, it looks like unemployment is a canker within this economy. What you will do beyond all that you've said to help address the issues and bring it to a final.
Okay. So, I mean, what we're doing with our listening tour, we've been to Tamale. We started from Tamale. We listened to the people. We went to Bolga. Then we went to Goso, Techiman, Seshwi, Uelso, Kumase, and now we went to Takrady, and now we're in Cape Coast. So we covered about 8 regions so far, or 9. But we went to Sunyani as well, but we just didn't do a listening tour there because the king is dead. May his soul rest in peace. So we went to donate, and of course we have to attend the funeral at some point. So what we have done, the statistics in the research that we're doing, because the listening tour is what is helping us to finalize the manifesto of this country, and we want the next manifesto of this country to be the people's voice, what they want, what they're asking, what they think can be better for them. And we realize that 63 to 69% is unemployed. So it's growing. By the time we finish the tour, it
that is indeed a national security threat.
It is big. It is it's a state emergency. It's a big thing. It's a big problem. And we realize that it fits right into our vision. Because our vision, the first thing that we have to do is to industrialize the entire country. So the 16 regional industrialization fits into this, where we're sending food processing plants, we are creating power plants, energy in every region. The regions are very, very, very well, they're very, very powerful in terms of wealth. So we've checked, like Western region, for instance, is 1.7 trillion. You have about 28 billion in Volta region. There are different numbers that we calculated. And when we put everything together, we're talking of 4.7 trillion attributable reserves in the country. So once we're able to create a value and an industrial platform in every region, automatically the jobs will be created for the people, because it's not the shops that we're buying the trading goods that will bring the jobs, which is what almost everyone is doing in the country. It is the factories. The factories will be working 24 hours a day. 8 hours times 3 is 3 shifts. So if you employ 10,000 people, automatically it has to be times 3. Then you have 30,000 jobs. It could be 1 or 2 plants. This is what we want to do in all the regions.
Great.
If you times it by 16, you are looking at least increasing between 500 to 1.3 million jobs in the first 2 years or first 3 years, if we're able to put at least 32 plants in the country.
So I'm going to pick your final words. So you speak to the people of Cape Coast through our media here, that we are wrapping up the conversation. But somebody's asking, how can I contact him? Because I am indeed loving everything about him, and I want to be part of this whole movement.
Yeah, you can just contact us, the Nana Kwame Bediako website or the New Force website. There's a call center there. It's all different languages, Ga, Twi, English, all the other regions, we can connect with you. You can be at the event tonight at the Cape Coast University or at the Center for National Culture, 2 p.m. To talk to me. If you want to ask me questions, you can be there. You can also join the movement. It's very easy on our website, Newforce, www.newforce.com.gh. Nana Kwame Bediako as well. You can join us there. Also, we have an app coming up that is going to be talking about the African heritage, value, wealth, and everything. So, I am accessible for the nation now.
Right, your final words in a minute.
Well, I just want to say thank you very much. First of all, Entrepreneurship and the team and ATL FM. This has been a great interview. Alaji, thank you. I've seen that you've passed on a lot of paper. Some of the I was still waiting for some questions, but it still didn't come. It's okay. I just want to say thank you to you guys, and I want to tell the people of Central Region that this is also one of my favorite regions. It's very well designed. The people are warm and I'm happy to be here. And I want to tell you this, that the new force is here to stay. We are the new Africans, the new nation, the new Ghana. We are here to make sure that all the sets, all the traps, and all the issues that have been colonized and influenced our ways of living will be deprived. As time goes on, we are building a new economy for the nation, and you are part of it. Thank you very much for having me in Caicos, and I'll be coming back again for the 275 constitutional tour. That would be my main campaign. I started with the 16. I'm going to listen to everyone. I'm going to go back to the lab with my team. I'm going to put everything together. And now I will come to you, and I will go to every district in this country. Of course, I want to feel the pain of the people. I want to know what they're going through. I want to see deep down the roots, the grassroots, what is going on there. Because truly, I'm here for a purpose to help, to add value to my society. I'm here for legacy, and help me build it. Thank you.
Just before I let go of you, I know you want to listen to this. I've just got this message. My regards to the inspirational, goals and results-oriented Cheddar. And I hope and pray that the youth of Ghana find wisdom in his great ideas and vision. Cheddar is simply a great visionary leader. I am Godfred, UCC, that's where you write into us, and I can't wait to meet him at the new examination center here in the University of Competitive Choice at exactly 6 p.m. This is where we end the conversation. Nana Kwame Bediako, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ntvucc.
Right, my name is Nana Ntvucc. This is where we end the conversation. Have a pleasant morning.